taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take the noose off. And you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as I'm back, you know that I never left. I got tracks and some music that you never guess. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got hard. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, 'cause I'm great at that. Oh, you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough though. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as me. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as me.
Hello and welcome to the Smite Draft League. It's Friday night and we've got Challenger free agents. I'm Anthony Malum and I've got with me on his first cast, Cosmic. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Anthony. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited for these free agent games. I'm so excited to see what these players have to offer, what they bring out. I mean, they got a lot to prove. They got a lot they want to show off. So it's kind of, we're in uncharted waters. I'm excited.
Yeah. Hoping to see some undiscovered talent here. Hopefully we see some of these free agent guys making their way into the real circuits.
I agree. Now, it's kind of tough because you got to really focus on individual performance, but you have to play with your team because ultimately you do want to win, because how else are you going to look good if you don't win the game? So are you looking for them to target ban just the most meta gods, the most popular gods, and then play what they're comfortable with, or what are you thinking?
Judging by the bans that we're already seeing, it's looking like we're seeing a lot of meta bans. These are all top picks in ranked and SPL games, as far as the Hades and the Daji, and even some of the support bans, the Yamoja and the Kabrakan. And recently we saw a huge Thor buff, which saw him have a huge shift up in the meta. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, it looks like we're seeing a lot of meta bans so far.
Yeah, and with the Guan Yu being the first pick, it goes along with what you're saying. We're probably gonna see a good mix of meta and comfort. I like the Guan Yu though, and a Cupid has made it through the bans and is the first selection. That's gonna be tough to play around.
Yeah, Cupid is so dominant right now. One of the best ADCs that we see coming out of the duo lane. We see a lot of hunters going in the mid lane as well, but I think it's safe to say that this is going to be a very solid duo lane pick.
Yeah, and again, we talked about it. This is, a free agent showcase. So they're really looking to show off, while, yes, I can play with a team and, I can function in comms and whatnot. You want to show off that you're good. And playing a character like Cupid kind of puts you a step ahead in that department.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure these teams who are looking to pick up players are saying, how well are these guys going to be playing into the current meta? How adaptable are they? Are they going to be able to play, or they're only good at their comfort picks? So
Hmm.
I think it's very good for them to show off that they can play whatever it takes, whatever the current meta is.
I think it's a really good point. And with the Khepri locked in, I think Khepri is a character that when you're looking at supports, you can see a lot from how a support plays Khepri. For a lot of people, it's one of the characters they have the most mastery on, they have the most practice with, because it's just always valuable.
Yeah, Khepri is almost never a bad pick. The Scarab's Blessing is always going to find value. The Pluck is such a great initiation. It's very strong for dual lane pressure in the early game. Khepri's just a solid pick. It's hard to go wrong with.
So I do want to pick your brain on this Artemis pick here. I have not seen an Artemis in any games I've casted so far in the main leagues this season. Do you think this is a comfort pick? Do you like where this is going? What are your thoughts on the Artemis?
Yeah, the Artemis, it's not super meta right now. Maybe it's a comfort pick. However, I think it does decently into Cupid. She has the CC immune ult. Also, she's not really too upset by the cripple in the Fields of Love. So while it might not be the most meta, I think it could see some value here.
Yeah, I agree with the choice on the CC Immune Ultimate. I also like the traps a lot into Khepri. It can kind of protect you from the pull quite a bit.
Yeah,
So
that's very true.
as we get into these next bans, are you looking to see more meta come off the board, or do you think we might see some team play start to sneak in? I might see some target bans.
Given that these guys are free agents, I don't know if they have, that much experience playing against one another. Therefore, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to target ban as well. Judging by this Mulan pick, it does seem a bit more comfortable. We have seen some buffs to the Mulan recently. Not quite at the top of the meta, but a solid pick overall. Personally, I really like Mulan, and I think it's a solid pick so far.
I agree. So with the Guan Yu and the Neja and the Artemis, it looks like they've got a lot of kind of in your face action, but I personally, I want to hear your thoughts. I'd like to see a mage that has a lot of control of positioning from the other team.
Yeah, we do see the Vulcan and the Yu Huang banned out here. Two very solid mages, one of the few meta mages that exist nowadays. Maybe we'll see a double hunter composition coming out, but as far as other mages, we might see a Merlin, just huge AoE abilities. We do see the Kukulkan banned out as well, so Kukulkan has risen up a little bit in the meta with the Book of Thoth buffs. Other than that, I'm not too sure how the order side is wanting to go here as far as draft-wise, as far as their mid pick and the support pick.
Yeah, it's always tough to find that balance, and especially in a situation like this, you kind of gotta go with the flow. A lot of these guys, this might be their first time communicating and making calls together. Ooh, a Tsukuyomi selection. I haven't seen that one in quite a bit either.
Tsukuyomi is interesting here. Definitely a fun god to play. Definitely a fun god to watch. Probably a little more on the comfort side. Not the most meta. Not as meta as Neja, given the recent buffs she's seen. But I think it can work here. I think it's good even into this Ymir that just got picked up. You can ult through the walls, and I think it can see some value for sure.
Yeah, I think the Ymir was a good pick. Because like you said, if you want to get out of that wall as a Tsukuyomi, you're going to have to use your ultimate. So I think trying to control the flow and the pacing of team fights late could be big for this Ymir. It also, again, shows off a lot of potential mechanical skill. On the topic of Khepri being one of the first supports a lot of people master, Ymir is a lot of people's first character. So yeah, it's kind of the same vibe.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the first characters I played. I think Ymir is actually a great pick here. I can see the wall getting a lot of value with there being 0 leaps on the Chaos side here, only dashes if any. So I could see this Ymir getting a lot of value. And this Discordia pick, it's something, it's kind of been played a bit in the SPL. The passive just goes ham in the early game. I think we can definitely see some value out of this disco. Might not have been what I was expecting entirely, but it doesn't surprise me too much.
For sure. And with the last pick of the East set, we're going to leave you here in Picks and Bans, and we will meet you in the game.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. When you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown.
Welcome back to the Smite Draft League. We've got something to prove for everybody in this game, and it's the blue and the red teams. How original can we possibly get? I'm Anthony Malum. He is Cosmic Warrior. Let's do it.
All right, looking into this is looking like it's going to be a fun game to watch, man. Just looking at the starters and the relics, all standard. A lot of beads, shells, teleports from the solos.
Yeah, nothing crazy. And, you know, part of that probably, too, is you want to get into this game and you want to take it seriously. You want to show off what's best. And going something crazy, going crazy starts, it could work. It could really make you stand out. But if it goes wrong, it could kind of make you instantly looking on the outside in, you know?
Yeah, we see some early game wars here from the blue team, just making sure that the purple bait isn't going to be getting, or the purple buff isn't going to be getting invaded. Something we've seen a bit of lately, something that's been considered meta, so I think it's good of them to do that.
Yeah, there's been a few times where we've seen even the supports kind of hang out and fight over that first invade, which is always interesting to see. As we head into our laning phase for these free agents, I'm excited to see where things go. The Artemis versus the Cupid lane is going to be something to watch for this game going forward.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be interesting to see how this Artemis, which is not considered too meta, faces off against Cupid, which is considered very hyper meta, something we see, you know, a ton of presence in the top end games.
Decent Heart Bomb going to have to make them back off that lane pressure that they really just won. We do see some jungler presence still over in the solo lane too, which that is something that is common in pretty much all of our leagues. I've seen it a few times in SPL, and I'm curious to see if this will be one of those games where there's a big emphasis on camping the solo lane and trying to keep that solo laner behind, especially because it might be a way for the junglers to get some kills early on, potentially get some highlight reels. Big fight over at the Scepter minion, going to be a 4-man gank at 1 minute 30 seconds. Tough spot to be in for the blue team. stooompzz really has nothing to do. DarkeFox gets the kill. BakeddGoods going to have to use that purification bead to get underneath the tower. The 4-man gank was successful at 2 minutes.
Yeah, man. I mean, we saw that the mid and jungle on the blue side went for the right mid harpy camps, and they just took that opportunity. They double ganked the left lane. They caught out the Ymir, who was in on the Scepter minion, and they took full advantage of it. Got themselves an early first blood. They landed every ability. Very well played by red team here.
Yeah, for sure. And getting, it's a bit unconventional, and at times it can be questionable to do a 4-man gank at 1 minute 30 seconds, but there is something to be said for trying to get your team ahead early, especially when the emphasis is on individual performance, how you can uplift your team and help that out. So it might be a questionable call in a lot of games, especially if things go wrong or you lose out on farm. But in this particular game, I think I'm kind of behind the call.
Yeah, I agree. They did it very quickly, very systematically. They landed everything, and they shut down that Ymir very quick, and they also expended the beads of the Artemis, so we could see more pressure, which we do see coming out here in the purple invade.
A purple invade might have been stopped by a nice double freeze from stooompzz, and that's going to be enough to secure this purple for now. Really nice play from the support on blue team.
Yeah, they back off given that double freeze, and yeah, just going back. I don't think they lost too much from the double gank, maybe a couple minions on the mid wave, but that's it, and I think it was well worth it for the first blood.
Yeah, and it got a little bit of math control for a while. Obviously, they didn't get the purple off of it, but we did see some presence from the red team over in the duo side jungle. They picked up the oracles before the gank, so already kind of establishing that map pressure. Barry, though, doing some really good damage on DarkeFox, but ChrisPocket was right there to follow up, and is going to get an easy basic attack kill on Barry in the mid lane. Looked good for a second, but ChrisPocket was standing right there.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be taking the 2v1s like that. We saw, Discordia landed the abilities, got the ESET pretty low, but it just didn't matter. The jungler was there, he was ready, and they responded and they punished.
Yeah, and that's a tough spot to be in too, because we saw that the Tsukuyomi has a lot of good map presence early on, which really has been not matched by the Neja piloted by Patro. So really tough spot to be in, but not the end of the world yet. Feels the love does go down. Dual lane for blue team doesn't have ultimate yet. Going to have to play this really safe, and will be for now. That was a close call, but Fields of Love burned for, at the end, but kind of nothing.
Yeah, it didn't seem like they got too much out of that. I think they just wanted to, try to go for something, given that they had the level advantage, but they weren't able to get much of it, and they did end up losing the Cupid ult for that, and I think that's going to be a big, important tool for the dual lane over here.
Yeah, and with that, we did see some pressure come out, as now the blue team dual lane does have their ultimates. So we might see some return pressure, might see a Tusky. Ooh, Kid, who is not very good, is looking for a blue buff invade with the horsey, but might have been a little late. Now caught out, but Patro is there on the Neja, picks up a big kill on AJRave, probably saving his solo laner at that.
Yeah, great rotation by the Neja here. Really good awareness, really good communication. I think that shows a lot for the...
Tough time there to ult as Neja, and the sash is no good either. Probably time for blue team to get out of there. Gonna go for the jungle invades. Like you're saying, that was a good rotation from the Neja, but we might be staying a bit too long. ChrisPocket gonna use the ultimate onto Patro, and AJRave is gonna KS at the end. Barry does get soloed in mid lane, so the E-set taking advantage of the early lead to put the pressure on.
Yeah, I don't think Patro expected the teleport into the tier 2 from Mulan. I think that was a very good call. They were able to punish, again, good communication between the jungler and the solo lane. Like, oh, this guy's being greedy, this guy's trying to take the camps, and let's punish, and that's what they did.
Yeah, and, it's like we said, it's really tough to establish or re-establish map pressure, especially when you've lost it early. For a second there, the blue team did really good of getting, they had their jungler in there, they were deep by the solo buff, or by the solo blue buff on the other side, things were looking good, but you just stay that little tiny second too long, and all the punishment drops down.
Yeah, it was looking really good for blue team. They even got the small camp, and I think if they would have just left after that, that would have been a really good, clean engagement, a big win on the map.
And a lot of that can probably be chalked up to, as we've been talking about, trying to make something happen. You're obviously trying to perform at your best because captains are watching, but at the same time, you got to play calm and smart and control your game. We do see a jungle invade from the Neja, once again backed up by the Guan Yu. This time it'll be a 2v1 for the blue buff and solo lane, but reinforcements are on the way. It looks like AJRave is just trying to stall and buy some time. Blue buff is secured by the boys in blue, but the Guan Yu ultimate runs into a wall and does not find a stun, but now it's a 3v2. Tsukuyomi is also on the way. DarkFox brought up into the air by Neja. ChrisPocket on the way. Khepri trying to get a root. Nobody's home, but the pull is good. That's going to be all it wrote for Kid Who Sucks. Now Patro finds himself stuck with ChrisPocket. There's a Tsukuyomi ultimate. One ability will do it. Purification Beast to get out of the sash. Still alive. Tower dive. Gonna survive it. ChrisPocket gets the kill onto Patro. Really good team communication and call over by red team, but the Gold Fury was snuck in response, and even better call out from blue team.
Yeah, wow, okay. I wasn't expecting that from blue team. I was like, wow, these guys are really set on invading this jungle.
Ooh, Fields of Love goes out. stooompzz is one hit away with a heart bomb, but the wall has probably saved him. DarkFox considering running it down for the Ymir, but decides to go and target Barry, looking for another kill. Barry with a nice Asoria to get away. There's the apple. Gonna do some good damage. Purification Beads has to come out from Cupid. Khepri ultimate onto DarkFox. Patro cannot find the kill quite yet, holding on to Ring Bounce. Ring Bounce is countered by the shell. DarkFox still alive, getting out. Lucan's doing a great job of delaying. The wall kind of actually assisted in that. There's a sash onto Lucan. Now Patro is pushed up quite far. Heart Bomb comes out. Now Patro finds himself on the end of a lot of damage and has to fall back, barely alive. Really good defense there from Lucan to get his E-set out alive.
Yeah, a lot of things just happened there. Honestly, great plays by the Khepri. I think that was very well done. It was a well-timed ult, even though it didn't happen to get popped. It was still enough to de-incentivize the damage, and definitely got his mid laner out there alive, and that was the ultimate goal there. Even returned some damage, nearly got the kill on to Neja, who probably overextended a little, but overall, nothing too bad happened for either side there.
Yeah, that was really impressive to get the E-set out. When they turned around at the red buff, I did not think the E-set was going out. We're seeing a slight lead in gold, but a decent lead experience and a significant lead in kills so far for red team. But things are not getting as crazy out of hand as you might expect.
Yeah, I mean, judging by the way blue team had been, you know, getting caught out a lot, overextending a lot, they had a great answer back with the gold fear. I was not expecting that personally. I think that was a very, very smart call, very well-made call.
Fields of Love comes out in a dual lane, but Tusky in response, and Patro's there for the follow-up. Great sash, followed by a nice ring bounce, gets the kill. ChrisPocket not going to be able to do anything in response, or will simply get ganked himself. Really good gank there from Patro on the Neja.
Yeah, great rotation over there. There's just no wards on the left side of the map by the red team, so Cupid just had no idea that Patro was coming over.
And that's always tough getting caught out like that. So as we're hitting the 10-minute mark, we're starting to see players knock on the door of level 10. Some have already gotten there. Are you seeing anything that sticks out to you in builds? Are we seeing things normal so far? What's your take on the builds?
Things are looking pretty normal. You know, recently we saw the shift from the Transcendence meta to the Gauntlet meta. Personally, I think it's a much more fun meta. I'm a big fan of the lifesteal. The Devo's Gauntlet getting that 10% pen when stacked has made a huge change in the initial items built by the hunters. As far as the mages go, we're not seeing any stacking on the E set.
AJRave comes out of the sky after the Patro gank and the Neja ultimate, taking a lot of damage, still alive, just now falls to Patro, but bought a lot of time. Now ChrisPocket and DarkFox are here, but Stoomps and Barry are also here. Not far behind them is Luke, and will he get there in time? The apple from way out is good hits, but not too much damage onto ChrisPocket. Now Stoomps is the only one caught out, and everybody's kind of got to go their separate ways. A really good counter gank right there from the blue team, which ultimately saved everybody.
Yeah, I mean...
And now we see a Pyromancer getting pulled quickly. Already down to half health. DarkFox gets the Khepri ultimate. Guan Yu chasing it down. It came out kind of early. They have plenty of time to do damage. There's the shell. DarkFox still alive. ChrisPocket falling low. Barry's still plenty healthy, but the same cannot be said for his teammates. And they pulled the Fire Giant, which is always a lot of damage coming at you early. Stoomps trying to back in front of Lukent, though. Gonna get pulled. There's the E-set stun. A bit of a questionable call there by Stoomps. Ultimately, he does get picked up by the E-set. And now they're going to pull the Pyromancer, is red team, but Barry's hanging out on the other side of the wall and might be able to free cast for the steal. Gets a good disorient. kidwhosucks gets a kill onto DarkFox. And now the Pyromancer fight begins, but Barry took the wrong way around. AJRave gets the kill onto him. Patro throwing hands to ChrisPocket. ChrisPocket gets the better of him, and now it's a 3v1. kidwhosucks, though, has a lot of health, so there's a good chance he can turn this around. We'll see if he goes for anything or he tries to just leave. Khepri pulls him in. AJRave on him. ChrisPocket wants nothing to do with this, is heading out, so kidwhosucks is safe for now.
Yeah, I mean, wow, what an engagement, what a fight. Just, you know, right off the bat, we saw the Ymir go down. Just the sheer amount of CC that the red team has really caught him off guard and got him down instantly in that fight, so they just had no Ymir, so they had the advantage. They felt safe to take the Pyro. And I think Discordia might have engaged just a little quickly. They did get the E set, thanks to the Guan Yu, who finished off the kill there, but ultimately, I don't think blue team's too happy with that. The red team got quite a few picks. Discordia maybe positioned a little bit poorly, going around the other side, ending up deep into the backline of the red team.
Yeah, for a second, I almost felt like the Discordia had the perfect setup for the steal, but I think, like you said, just didn't wait long enough. Probably was worried they were going to get spotted. So Barry went around a little early. It almost worked out perfect, but like you said, just things did not go the fortunate direction for the blue team.
I think he tried to go for the confirmed kill on the E set as opposed to just committing to the steal. Luckily, E set did go down thanks to the Guan Yu, but yeah, the Discordia ended up in a very bad position there.
We do see an ethereal staff
picked
up by the
I
E
was
set.
just going to mention that. It's not something you see very often. I was really expecting that to turn into a staff of Mirrodin, but an ethereal staff is very interesting. Along with the Divine Ruin, that's not something you really see too often built first, especially not against this team draft, which does have some healing, but not so much that you would think you would need to prioritize it first item.
Yeah, it's definitely the Guan Yu that would be the problem there, and you think as a mid laner you'd be able to wait until one of your last couple of items. BakeddGoods caught out Owns, but ooh, the dash gets away from Patro's ultimate. Cupid is safe for now. Patro chooses a new target, gets a good sash onto DarkFox, but BakeddGoods is falling quickly. Here's the Tsukuyomi ultimate. It's probably going to be enough to get secure. It is. ChrisPocket has a kill on the BakeddGoods. Now Patro is the new target. They're just ignoring the Ymir. It's a 4-on-2. Double kill for ChrisPocket. stooompzz is the last one alive. There's the pull. He's going to fall. Owns steals a triple kill.
Yeah, just a great display of communication and positioning here by the red team. They knew exactly what they wanted. They have good wards on the left side of the map, so they knew what was going down, and they capitalized on it. We saw great rotations from the jungler, and it ultimately led to this Oni Fury, which is going to be very impactful, just going to extend the gold lead that they have, and I think this was a great play by the red team.
You know, I really like, with the exception of the one Gold Fury that they lost due to their gank and solo, red team has had some very functional and on-point objective calls so far, which I really like to see. I'd be very curious to know who's calling the shots, because so far they have been very on point.
Yeah, I mean, judging by the performance of the Tsukuyomi, his impact in the fights, his positioning, I'd imagine that we're seeing ChrisPocket being a major shot caller.
Oh,
maybe not
no, Barry just got blown up by DarkFox in the mid lane after the ultimate was just too much to handle. Going to be another kill for that E set, now 5-1 as the Discordia falls to 0-4. Not an easy game so far for Barry.
Definitely struggling a lot. I mean, that goes for the whole blue team. Just red team just looking very dominant here. Again, as I was saying, I think the Tsukuyomi is doing a lot as far as shot calling. I'm sure everyone is participating in their own way, and that ultimately is what's leading to this great team cohesion, these great positioning, these great calls, and great objective play. I mean, there's not a lot to critique by the red team. Just really good plays on the map, really good map control, really good gold control. It's looking rough for the blue team right now.
Yeah, it's funny. The only thing you could really critique on the red team is that ethereal staff, and it's kind of hard to critique something that's actively working right in front of you for one way or another. So my thing going forward is I'm looking for red team to continue this objective pressure and the map control like they're doing now. Take the Pyromancer, put some pressure on Fire Giant, take control of this game. Don't let it go long. Guan Yu blink ultimate, E set down to secure the Pyromancer, and they will secure it. Red team has the Pyro. Up into the air goes Neja with DarkFox, but the Khepri ult is going to be good. Gets a big revive onto DarkFox, but Guan Yu is hot on it. ChrisPocket gets a big kill on Patro. Kid has a kill on DarkFox, but now might be caught out. stooompzz is there with him, but that's pretty much it. Artemis and Discordia are nowhere to be found. Discordia is still working over from mid lane. Kid is falling fast. stooompzz, though, full health and has plenty of walls, so Guan Yu will be safe. stooompzz, though, might be the sacrificial lamb for that escape.
Oh,
great wall, though. But the blink from ChrisPocket, no abilities yet. Freeze no good. stooompzz is going to fall, but not due to lack of trying after some great jukes and an even better wall.
Yeah, I mean, Ymir just living their life as much as possible, trying to waste as much of their time. Honestly, that engagement was looking really good for blue team. The Guan Yu had the answer, and Patro was not far behind him. We took the E set into the air. Unfortunately, the Scarab's blessing, the Khepri, is just so hard to counter. There's not much you can do about it. The one pick they might have had, just they lost because of the Scarab's blessing.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to see Barry rotate just slightly sooner. It was definitely a tough spot to be in, because when you fall behind like that, I mean, obviously your number one goal, I've done this plenty of times myself, you got to farm, because otherwise you're not going to be relevant. But there are certain moments, and I've talked about this a bunch, and a lot of the casters have, even if you have to farm because you're behind, there's moments where you just got to rotate and fight with your team, because your abilities will make a big difference, even if they're not hitting very hard.
Yeah, and I mean, just the E set is just so, there's just nothing that the blue team has that's going to out-secure an E set ult. There's not much chance of stealing an objective, so the best option you have is to just try to fight it out, try to counter it, try to get any picks that may have gotten low from the objective, or just low in general. Because, again, they're just not going to out-secure the circle of protection.
Yeah, really all the blue team can look to do on those objectives, assuming they don't pull it first and do the majority of the damage, is to not so much go for the steal, but to try to go for some kills to try to clear it out. Patro looking for a gank onto Owns. Gonna get the sash, beads, and Fields of Love follow up. Ultimate from Patro brings him into the sky. Artemis, though, took the scenic route, not going to be there for the follow-up, was trying to cut off the gank from ChrisPocket, who cleans up the kill onto Patro, and now BakedGoods, despite trying to take the smart route, now taking a lot of damage. Gonna juke that ability out, but can't juke everything. ChrisPocket has a double kill and is divine. Really great plays from ChrisPocket so far. Barry, though, just trying to get out alive. Not going to do it. Gets soloed again. DarkeFox has another kill. Make it 6-2. 9-0 from the Suki. Great performances all around for the red team.
Yeah, just win after win on the map. Seemed like it was almost a desperation play that the Naja made. Saw the Cupid, figured he was alone, but Sukioni's just everywhere. ChrisPocket is everywhere he needs to be. It was a great performance by Naja, but it didn't matter.
kidwhosucks might have taken a rough route. Here's the Suki ultimate. Gonna be able to follow up. Not a lot of damage, so the shell came out from stooompzz. Purification beads, wanted to commit, could not do it. The wall was too much. Gonna be a escape for the Guan Yu, but it could turn into a fire giant for the red team. Only stooompzz is there. Neja is doing an XP camp. I don't think they're gonna be able to contest. This is gonna be a free fire giant for red team, assuming stooompzz can't get in there, and they're just gonna concede it. That's a free fire giant at 20 minutes for the red team. That is massive. Yeah, we're not done yet, though. ChrisPocket gonna find Patro. Patro gonna have to use that ultimate to get away. Good heal, gonna be enough to get away for now. And it looks like we're gonna take a second away from fighting. Great call there by red team.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the grouping by the red team is so potent that this kind of spread out play that we see from the blue team, it's just not working. They're constantly getting caught out. They're constantly taking fights where they're just completely outnumbered and there's not much they can do about it. This red team is just looking so dominant. They're positioning amazingly. Their map play is excellent. Their objective calls is unrivaled.
Yeah, I agree completely. And, looking at builds, we don't have long to talk about it as red team is on the gas pedal right now. I am not super happy with the lack of anti-heal that we're kind of seeing right now. Cupid is just kind of free farming with it. The E-set's got a lot from the ultimate. It's not... There wasn't any massive heals to consider, but I still would have liked to see something picked up. I mean, the Cupid... I've seen this a million times. I'm sure you have. Cupid heals can be sneaky and do a lot. Yeah,
Cupid heals recently, they are crazy. He can pretty much full heal in, 2 rounds of his heals. Maybe I would have liked to see a Brawler's Beat Stick on the Naja, maybe a Shadow Steal somewhere going more of a crit build on the Artemis, but we're not seeing anything. We're not even seeing a Pestilence by the Ymir. There's no anti-heal, so they're just getting all the value out of their healing, the E-set healing, and the Devil's Gauntlet from the Cupid.
Yeah, the E-set ultimate heal is crazy. They've been lucky so far. It has not been used that way. It's been used for secure mostly. AJRave falling down fast, though. This could be the best engage from the blue team we've seen so far. BakedGoods gets the kill onto AJ. Big Kepri revive onto the Cupid. DarkeFox, though, falling low. Shell comes out. Not going to be enough. Patro gets the kill onto DarkeFox. But all of a sudden, blue team finds their health bars falling lower and lower. They got to back up, but Patro has not gotten that memo yet. Is caught out at the front by Luke at the pole. Cupid's gonna get to just shoot as many bases as he wants. Patro gets deleted by the Cupid. ChrisPocket, though, now cut off from the rest of his team, trying to make a play happen. Gonna blink for Barry. The wall gonna block him off for now. Can't find anything. ChrisPocket is doing everything he can to get out of this situation, and it's gonna be good. He's gonna get out. He turned that around. I did not expect ChrisPocket to be able to survive that. I thought he was gonna hard commit for the kill onto the Discordia, but he made the right choice overall. Probably got to get out of there, though, with the teleport coming in onto that tier 2 tower. But looks like blue team's going to go gas pedal and try to go for this chase. I don't know if I like this call. Red team's going to look for the Oni Fury, or Gold Fury right now. And this is a tough call for blue team. I'd back up. Gold Fury down to half already. stooompzz very low. Heart Bomb goes on to Kid, though. Here's the Tsukuyomi ultimate. Doing a lot of damage, but a lot of damage onto ChrisPocket. He does get the kill onto stooompzz, so will he fall? He does! Guan Yu with the shutdown on ChrisPocket. The bank from the apple is very good. BakeddGoods gets the kill onto Cupid. And this fight is turned once again. DarkFox gets the kill onto BakeddGoods. And now it's a 3v3. Health bar advantage is on blue team. DarkFox is trying to cast, but very low. Guan Yu gets the kill onto DarkFox. Now it's a 3v2. AJRave and Lucan are not going to be dealing that much damage. Got to get out of there and try to re-engage at a later date, but Guan Yu is right up on them. His team went the other way, though, so that'll be enough. Blue team falling back after a fight with plenty of twists and turns.
Yeah, what a crazy fight. Did you see them go for the Gold Fury afterwards? I think this was actually a really good fight for blue team. We saw Guan Yu, who's absolutely the most dominant person, I believe, on blue team right now. He's definitely standing out above the rest. He got the shutdown on the 10-0 Tsukuyomi. That's huge. That's an insane amount of gold. That's going to be really useful. We're going to see how he's going to be able to put that to use. You know, after that engagement around the tier 2, the red team, they had expended a lot. They used a lot of relics. They'd used a lot of ultimates. And I think blue team knew that. They were willing to contest this Gold Fury. They didn't want to give it up for free. They knew ChrisPocket was had gone pretty low. He did heal up quite a bit thanks to the Cupid heals, but you know, that shutdown was so huge they ended up getting the Gold Fury. And not to mention, the red team was very staggered in that fight. That we didn't see the E set until halfway through the fight. And like once the E set did come around, as well as the Mulan, we did see the fight sort of shift towards the red for a little bit.
And now we've got a new engagement. This time it's over by the Fire Giant. Red team secured Pyro, and they're going to take Guan Yu with them. Lucan gets the kill. We've all been there with a Khepri burn. This could be a Fire Giant call, as now it's a 4v5, and it looks like it's going to be another concede from the blue team on the Fire Giant, as Neja is backing. I mean, we saw the charts there. Things are starting to take a turn, but right as we could have talked about blue team making a comeback, the Fire Giant goes for free.
Yeah, this was a very devastating loss for the blue team. Again, yeah, like you said, things were turning up, but like they're just not grouping. They need to play around this Guan Yu. This Guan Yu tends to be in a good position if he were to have the rest of his team, but his team is just never there. And the red team is just, again, so well grouped. They're always 5-man deep. They know what they want, and you know they're committed to getting it, and they're getting it because of that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about what blue team could do different, but I think you said it best. Group up around the Guan Yu, maybe try to play a bit more passive and go on defense, because we saw red team's siege, while they got the right side and the middle map towers fairly easily, they had a very hard time taking that tier 2 with a kind of an awkward defense from blue team. So link up, play around the Guan Yu, and try to let red team make the mistake against you, I think might be the best call. I mean, the Artemis is starting to do some serious damage.
Yeah, I mean, we see, you know, big support, you know, builds coming out with the Compassion. However, I don't really like the Compassion plus the Blink combo on this Ymir. I think because of the damage that gets redirected to you, it actually stops your Blink a lot of the times in these fights. So I don't love that combination.
Getting ready for our Phoenix Siege. Always one of my favorites. Tsukuyomi is pushing mid, trying to divert some attention. It's worked so far. Has Patro. Blink in from Guan Yu. Will they follow up this time? 3-man stun. And this time they did follow up. Apple of Discord goes out, but doesn't find too much damage. It was really only the Discordia follow-up. Tough luck there for blue team, but they did some good damage onto the red team. They have to back up. At least DarkFox needs to heal for now. And so far, good defense by blue team. Did exactly what they said. Play around that Guan Yu, follow up on his positioning, and it worked. Can it keep working is what we're going to look for in this next engage.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great ult by the Guan Yu. Great call to initiate right there. They knew that some of the team was separated.
Patro got caught out by ChrisPocket, but ChrisPocket got stunned by stooompzz, and BakeddGoods gets the kill. Now the Guan Yu is caught out in the left lane, has enough health to survive for now, and the homies are back. And we're we're even Stevens again. Blue team made some mistakes early, but so far their defense has been very sharp, not letting that ChrisPocket play get the best of them. That impressed me. We see some damage come out on Lucan, but no real commitment yet from red team. They're kind of dancing outside these Phoenixes. There really isn't anything else on the map to do right now, with the exception of buffs and farming. So I think this is the best play to keep the pressure on, but so far nothing has come of it. I really want to see blue team tighten up.
They're just kind of butting their heads against the Phoenix, not getting too much of it. Trading the Naja for the Tsukiyomi is the best trade for the red team. I think that's definitely favorable for the blue team, at least at this stage of the game. You know, given that they have the Phoenixes to help defend, it's just not looking so hot for the red team. I think they need to back up, reset, regroup. You know, maybe finish off some of their builds, go for some farm, get rid of the gold on the map, because this Phoenix Siege is not working. I think they could have done stuff. They could have played it a little bit better. They could have grouped up a little harder. They tend to be attacking two different Phoenixes at once, which, you know, can work. I think I would have preferred to see a little bit of, you know, when sieging the left Phoenix, you know, someone playing right in that nook between the left and middle Phoenix, as opposed to that sort of double siege that they were going for, because it didn't seem to work out too well for them. Yeah,
I mean, you said it best. Like, sometimes it can work. Diverting that pressure, putting some attention on mid while your team pushes the Phoenix can work well, but you kind of have to have your team push the Phoenix you're not at. And that's kind of what we didn't see. ChrisPocket was just kind of standing there and doing well in the mid Phoenix, but the left Phoenix had no pressure. So, like you said, I just want to see, even if they do want to commit to the siege, I just want to see more commitment from red team. They've done it well the entire game. You can see it in the kill lead, in the gold lead, the experience lead, but at the end here, they just can't seem to close it out, which, you know, we talked in the beginning about individual performance and, you know, also finding it to work with team play. Ending a game is a big part of team play.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we did see ChrisPocket did get a pick onto the Naja. That would have been really good, but stooompzz had a really good stun, caught him under the Phoenix. It did shut him down, so I feel like at that point, red team should have just backed off. They should have, again, reset, regrouped, maybe got some farm. It was a very good Gold Fury pull, perfectly timed as well.
Pyromancer was just obliterated. stooompzz, once again, was the only person around who really sniffed it out. That's been a common theme. He does get rooted by the Khepri. No commitment yet, but if red team is setting up for something, probably waiting for DarkFox to get there. Blue team finds himself in a tough spot. Patro with the sash in, but might spell demise. Gonna have to use that ultimate to get away for now. DarkFox finds Barry, but the stun is no good on the side. Tsukiyomi goes in on the right side, gets in response a sash. Fields of Love goes down. Patro is gonna fall. Now Guan Yu is cut off from his team, and BakeddGoods is taking a lot of damage from AJRave, and Guan Yu is gonna fall in the back. Now we've got a 5v3 for red team. Good wall to stall for the moment, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. The Phoenix Siege is going to be intense, and it's going to be quick. They're running it down. The apple comes out, going to stop it, going to pull an Aegis from that Cupid, who lost a lot of health also. So this isn't an unwinnable 3v5, but it's going to be tough. Lucan gets the kill onto Barry. Surely another KS from the Khepri. The Phoenix is going to fall fast. We're on to a 2v5 Titan defense. Are they going to go for the end? Hopefully not.
I mean, they have decent timers. Doesn't look like they are, though. You know, that was a pretty good Discordio that we saw. Did get the Cupid Aegis. But we saw the Circle of Protection come out for the Phoenix Siege. I thought that was a pretty good way to just secure the fact that they were getting the Phoenix, something that, you know, as we talked about, they had been struggling on. But that doesn't mean they're not going to have it for this Fire Giant secure. So maybe we can see some steal potential from the blue team.
stooompzz and BakeddGoods are here, but Neja is not. It's a 2v5. stooompzz is in, though. Gonna go for the steal on a Fire Giant. He gets it! Blue team steals the Fire Giant! I was shocked they were going for the 2v5 steal, but it worked out. Guan Yu must have TP'd in, and now he's caught out in the back, but gives plenty of time for stooompzz to get out of there after securing the Fire Giant. I talked about it before. stooompzz was the only one sniffing them out, and he was the one to go for the steal, and he had it perfect.
Where's this Guan Yu at?
Out, but he's walked them back to the Phoenix. He's gonna fall out by their Phoenix. There's definitely a point where it's great to run a team around and waste some time, but he might have gone just a bit too far at that time.
Yeah, that's crazy. He was behind the tier 2. Yeah, and exactly like I said, they didn't have the circle of protection for the fire giant secure, and Ymir just blinked in and ulted. That was a beautiful by stooompzz. That was a really fun play to watch. I think that was a great call by Ymir. Great performance in that play. Great understanding. He knew that the circle protection was down, and maybe the next best thing to secure is a Ymir ult. Ymir ult is kind of an underrated secure tool, given that, you know, it's a support, doesn't do as much damage, but a fully charged Ymir ult, that could smack.
Yeah, and, you know, we're here to talk about the free agents, and I have to say, you can see it through this entire game. When it comes to the little things and mechanics, stooompzz has been on it the entire game. The walls have been great. The freezes have constantly been good. He's the only one to consistently sniff out all of these objectives that Red Team has been pulling throughout the game. That was a beautifully planned and executed steal of the Fire Giant. Really great performance from the support on the blue team.
Yeah, stooompzz is sticking out very hard, and the Guan Yu, I mean...
Yeah, definitely the Guan Yu too.
Guan Yu has been having so much value this game. We might even, you know, see next game if the Red Team's going to ban that out, just because, like you said, the tanks have been the outliers here. I think if the carries were focusing more around these tanks, positioning around them, and listening to their calls that they're trying to make, then blue team would have been in a much better spot here 35 minutes in. About over 10,000 gold down. It's just not looking great for the blue team, despite the hardest efforts of the tanks.
Yeah, and a big part of that, as we've seen late, is they are following up with the tanks, with the exception of the Guan Yu getting caught out at the end there, but I think he was just trying to delay so they could push out some fire minions. Might have gotten a little bit caught out doing it. As soon as they started following up on their support and their solo, things have started going a completely new direction for this blue team. I mean, they're still, you know, it's a massive deficit in gold, massive deficit in kills and towers, but the feel of this game has completely shifted. It almost kind of feels for the red team like, what can we do? How can we end? They're gonna go for a 5-man group in the duo lane. Good wall from stooompzz though, saving them from getting caught out. It's gonna be a Phoenix siege. Let's buckle up for this one. This could be huge. If they can just get in, Cupid can blow it up, but they've got to get in, and that's the hard part. They do have fire minions on the right side that need to be dealt with as the Phoenix is about to come up over there. They're going to send the Guan Yu. Might have considered sending the Discordia, but we'll see how that plays into this Phoenix push. Guan Yu able to save the Phoenix for now. Here comes the siege in the duo lane. Patro goes on the Cupid, who got blown up, but the Kepri ult gets him out. Patro's going to fall to ChrisPocket. Baked, though, does get the kill onto the Cupid. Waited just long enough. DarkFox also low. Phoenix did fall in right lane, but how far can blue team push this out? DarkFox, though, is still alive. ChrisPocket is full health. Lucan and ChrisPocket get to walk away because the blue team's got to fall back and defend against the fire minions. Another great defense from blue team, just saying, get out of our base.
I mean, you know, as much as I've been critiquing the blue team, one thing that they've excelled at is their Phoenix defenses. They've only been able to take one Phoenix. Unfortunately, it did drop again because Guan Yu wasn't able to get there in time. You know, hindsight 2020, maybe the Guan Yu should have stayed or have gone to defend it earlier. But these Phoenix defenses are looking really strong. They ended up getting a pick on the Cupid. That's huge. That pretty much that puts a huge damper into their Phoenix sieging abilities, you know, taking out the ADC. One thing I don't think we've talked too much about is this cup control. I think if the red team, you know, they're sort of hanging around the Phoenixes a lot, if they're able to do that with the Trebuchet, you know, maybe they'll get some poke on the Phoenix, maybe it just helps them out in some way, potentially even gets a little poke damage onto the heroes. So I think that's like the only thing that they can try differently, because these Phoenix sieges just aren't going their way.
Yeah, I agree. And it doesn't help for the red team that the Phoenix that they've had pressured and that they were able to kill is that solo lane Phoenix, because it's the one closest to Fire Giant. So you can kind of afford to contest fire and defend against the fire minions. If they were to maybe get that one in the dual lane and try to split the map pressure, it might be a bit of a different story.
We have every ultimate up for this Fire Giant fight. This is looking like a good fight. You know, we see some beads down on both sides, particularly a few more on the red team.
Oh, stooompzz walks up and gets a double freeze, but who's there to follow up? It's just Patro for now, and ChrisPocket is doing serious damage. Later, Patro, you were no match for ChrisPocket's damage. He goes and just a new target. It's the Barry, blows him up too, but has to get away. Has to use the purification beads to get out of there too. stooompzz, though, does get rooted with BakeddGoods. Feel to Love down. The apple comes out, trying to create some space. This could be it. ChrisPocket gets another kill. It's just Barry and the Guan Yu. Guan's trying to go around the side to create some distance and maybe save. He's going to be able to back, but Barry is going to fall. And this is now Red Team's game to lose. The Titan Siege begins, but if anybody could defend it, it is this Guan Yu. It is full health, too. Guan's going to blink in, trying to take out ChrisPocket first. It's a good move. Shell comes out, though, and Guan Yu is going to fall very fast. Not going to have the health to be able to survive this. The E-set ultimate is down, and that's going to do it. The Red Team, on the backs of strong solo performances and great calls, gets the victory.
Yeah, which, if I'm Blue Team, I'm thinking, what went wrong? How are we going to improve? What sort of composition changes are we going to make? I think the biggest outlier was this Ne Zha. Just the way that the Blue Team was playing, it just wasn't working for the Ne Zha. Ne Zha's a very all-in, and if you don't have the response from your team, you don't have the proper ultimates, it's just not going to work out. It doesn't matter how meta it is.
I definitely agree. And if we had to talk about the lower points first and then talk about the high points, I think if I'm Barry, I may be considering picking up a different character next game. The Discordia did not play to his strengths. He was not able to show up and do too much. So the Discordia and the Ne Zha might not have had the greatest performances, but there were so many good performances to talk about. And even from the team that lost, kidwhosucks on the Guan Yu had some really great positioning throughout the game. stooompzz, we talked about it, had great small mechanics that kept showing up, sniffed out every objective, had an amazing steal. Wasn't enough to win, but it was still a great steal. BakeddGoods at the end there started pumping out some numbers and actually outdamaged the Cupid, which is no easy task to do on an Artemis. And then on the other side, we have to talk about ChrisPocket, who went 18, 2, and 10 with 46k player damage. An absolute amazing, dominant performance. AJRave did quite well. The E-set stuns were a little iffy at some points in the game, but overall the ultimates were very well used. I'm not sure if that's a comms thing or a Dark Fox thing, but it worked great. And Lucan had some on-point Khepri revives.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you said it all. Like, I think, even though the Artemis had, 10,000 more damage than the Cupid, I don't think I like the Artemis pick very much. It just, the Cupid Fields of Love were just way more impactful than the Boars.
Tusky was a non-issue, you're right.
It didn't seem like Artemis had much impact, nearly as much as the Cupid did, not to mention, the Cupid heals for these, a lot of extended fights that we saw. The Cupid heals, just huge value. We see he had 4,000 player healing. That was more. He out healed the Guan Yu. That's huge.
Yeah,
that's not unnoticeable.
And with that, we are going to leave you from this game, and we'll see you right back on the Smite Draft League.
taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take the noose off. You cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough I'm back, you know that I never left. I got tracks and some music that you never guessed. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got hard. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, 'cause I'm great at that. Oh, you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough though. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as me. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as me.
Last game, the story was jungle damage, and more jungle damage. But after a great showing, ChrisPocket has been subbed out. So going forward, we have a new outlook. I'm Anthony Malum. He is Cosmic Warrior. We're back to picks and bans.
Yeah, I mean, what a performance by the red team last game. However, as you said, you know, ChrisPocket was like 18-2. Such a dominant performance by him on the Tsukiyomi, who's, you know, not considered a very meta pick right now. So how is red team going to fare with a different jungler? We will see.
You know, I think ChrisPocket having a performance like that and then getting subbed in, I think could be really good for the red team, you know, being able to show that you have other players who could potentially go in. I mean, there is a chance that having a different jungle, if the jungler is weaker, could set you up for some tougher stuff, but it could work out well for them. On the other side, though, we'll be right back here on the Smite Draft League. We are having some technical difficulties, so we'll meet you back in the picks and bans here soon.
Going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent, and it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots, if I miss off, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. That energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic. losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the black. Sleepless nights and headaches stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need, what you need. We're broken, it's tragic, we're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic. Believe you could have it, and I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite vastness of all that is blackness. So tell me, oh, will you believe? 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 Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
We are back on the Smite Draft League. The Red Bull stains are cleaned up. The shirts aren't ruined. Things are looking good. We're back at it. I'm still Anthony Malum. He's still Cosmic Warrior. And we're going to get right back into the picks and bans where we left off.
Yeah, I think as we were talking about, having such a dominant player not playing, might spell some trouble for the red team, but it might also provide some opportunity for some of the other players to show off sort of their individual skill. As we were talking about, these are free agent games. ChrisPocket really showed himself off well and really outshined the rest of his team, I think. So this is going to be a good chance for the rest of his team to show what they've got.
I agree. And the other side, it's their chance to make up for a rough game. They can kind of, I'm not trying to make excuses for people, but they can kind of be like, well, did you see ChrisPocket? We were a bit, we're having a tough time. So they can really try to show up this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at the bans by the blue side, a lot of, we see, the Khepri ban was very strong in the last game. Another Umoja ban, I think Umoja is a very strong god, but you have to be really good with Umoja in order to get, as much value as you possibly can. You got to be good with the Riptides, the reverse Riptides, and you got to get good ultimate value. It's a very long cooldown ultimate. And so, you know, if they know that Lucent is a good Kimocha, it's a good ban. Otherwise, you know, maybe they should have banned something else. But you know, that could go either way. I think the Hades ban, you know, just a really dominant god, the meta right now. And, you know, looking at the red side bans, all just super prevalent in the meta.
We do see so far a Lancelot, a Charybdis, a Pele, a Cupid. So with the exception of the Cupid, very different look already. I like the Pele, I like the Charybdis going a different ADC, because we did talk about that. BakedGoods was on the Artemis in the last game. So going a different route, assuming that Charybdis is ADC and not mid, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think Charybdis is really good into Cupid, just one of the safest hunters in the game. Gonna have no problem getting out of the fields of love and just completely avoiding all of the heart bomb stun and extra damage. I think it's a pretty good matchup into Cupid. I like this pick a lot. I want to look at this Lancelot pick. You know, Lancelot is something, you know, on release and even a while after, it was super dominant, super meta. But after some of the nerfs, I've personally seen him fall off quite a bit. I don't love the pick too much, but I think it can, you know, see some good value. Pele's, you know, very strong right now with the maces being so strong, the Crusher, even Soul Eater if you want to go that route. So I'm liking the Pele here, but I also really like the Charybdis pick.
Yeah, and with the Ganesh pick, I like the setup in particular for that Charybdis. We've seen a few times so far throughout the season in general that it's a rare combo, but it's a good combo. The pillars kind of create enough disruption that it can really make a difference. And we did see a very great performance from stooompzz on support, assuming he continues in that role and pilots the Ganesh. I'm excited to see the silences and those pillars come out. And the Emir's, I mean, they couldn't play it. They picked Ganesh unless they were doing something strange, but the Emir's taken away, and we will see that piloted by most likely Lucan on the other side.
Yeah, the Ymir pick right after Ganesha is it's a bit strange. You know, maybe you could have gotten more value out of something else, given, you know, Ganesha's dash can just go right through the Ymir walls. So a little bit of less value out of that. I'm really looking forward to see how stooompzz places these Dharmic pillars, you know, the value. Personally, I think Ganesha is pretty underrated Guardian. I personally find Ganesha getting a lot of value as far as Dharmic pillars and the silences. The silences can be just very strong. They can cancel out a lot of abilities. Very good in team fights.
Very good against Pele too, because Pele has to get right up in your face to do the majority of the damage, and Ganesh can really quiet a lot of it down.
Yeah, we see the ESET bans coming out from the blue team. You know, that's, you know, I think that's a pretty good ban. They need the mid laner. That was very dominant. It was super hard to contest any objective with the you know, with the circle of protection. There's just nothing that's going to out-secure it anytime that's up. And on the flip side, we see the Guan Yu ban, something
just like you asked for.
Yeah, kidwhosucks was super dominant on the Guan Yu. Great performance by him, and it's good to see that the red team is respecting that. And I'm just interested to see what blue team does from here, what kind of solo lane they pick up. Do they want to go for a double hunter, maybe you know, a Cthulhu, something like that?
We do see a Ratatasker hovering, and this is interesting because in the first game we did see that the blue team actually banned out the Ratatasker. So we talked about the lack of target banning, but Ratatasker isn't a ban that's been very common recently. So I'm curious to see if that was trying to take that out of the hands of somebody in particular. So that could be something to watch for.
Yeah, when this Ratatasker gets locked in with the Pele already in, I'm definitely looking, you know, towards the solo lane for that pick. I think Ratatasker is just a good pick overall. Good, you know, semi-global presence, great ult. I think Rat's a fun pick here.
The Uller and the Tier, a couple stance switchers. Looks like blue team might be doing what we talked about. They might be going, you know what? Our team play was not the greatest, but a lot of that could potentially be chalked up to the characters we played. So let's go with things we're good at, because, you know, Uller and Tier feel like characters that these guys are just comfortable with.
Yeah, so like I said, they're going for the double hunter. I imagine we'll see the Uller in the mid lane over the Cryptus, but honestly, it could go either way. We've seen Cryptus played in the mid lane very effectively, and I really like Tyr just as a god. I find him very fun, and we've recently seen a pretty major buff for Tyr, so I think that's a good pick here. We're gonna see what red team does to close this one out.
Yeah, it is the last pick coming out from Owns, and it's gonna be a hovered Olderun. That was not what I was expecting to see, but I kind of hope it gets locked in. That is something that is very different. Goes over to the Chunga. We'll see if this is a hover game. This does tend to happen from time to time, so we'll wait this one out. The Chunga is locked in. So with that, our teams are set and ready to go, and we will see you in the game.
I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get along with anybody, honestly. I've been living in my own head constantly, thoughts jumbled round, think I need a new lobotomy. Wait, all these thoughts are too negative. I don't wanna get lost in the sedative. Gotta show them what I got, I'm competitive. You know I'm about to go off, I won't let them win, I'll take a stab. I wanna chase a bag, I wanna weigh, I can change all the things I lack. I gotta face the facts, I gotta taste in that. Got me obsessed with the rest, I got an itch to scratch. I'll give up everything. If I could see my dreams, could sell through anything to make what I want a reality. Don't let go. I'll make things right. Could sell through anything to make what I want a reality.
I just wanna find a way out, sick of the venom in my brain. Running from the past, wanna escape my pain. I just wanna be a better person, I deserve this, I just wanna break these chains. Always destined for greatness, true to myself, I never fake it. Seen too many ones that are so they get famous. And when I say the truth, most really can't take it. In spite of everything I've been through, I'ma make it. Fake friends, but on my downfall is toxic. Day one, started to outlaws for profit. Now all I do is write verses, no talking. All I do is put the work in, no option. This was everything I ever wanted. Created a legacy off of me, just being honest. And the fake ones hate, but it's all to no avail. They wanna see me lose, but you know I never fail.
Want a reality. I'll give up everything. If I could see my dreams, could sell through anything. Make what I
what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. You know I'm addicted to you, and it's twisted. You've been gifted with the evil voodoo. Got me coming back for more, even when I've been screwed. Dolls full of pins, pierce my heart straight through. I got issues in my head. I like you in my bed, but you keep me on red. Oh, everything is like a test. I better not text or I'll come off desperate.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed, thinking something out of my nightmares, standing right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored again?
So if I play
It's time for some redemption for the blue team, but the red team, the show off is gone. It's time to show what we've got. I'm Anthony Malum. He is Cosmic Warrior. Let's do it.
Yeah, right off the bat, I just want to say I'm looking at this Uller mid pick. I'm hoping to see a lot of pressure, a lot of axes landed, a lot of combos from the jungler as well. I think Uller is just such a dominant pick. If you land an axe, you're almost guaranteed to kill. You know, that being said, I think Shunga was a decent answer back to that. You know,
Yeah.
the CC immunity and just all damage immunity in her 2. Maybe she can dodge out the axes. I think that's just going to come down a lot of, you know, mechanical skills on both sides. So I think we're gonna see a good display here, and, you know, see what these free agents are really capable of.
Yeah, and we also had a role swap. We see Barry heading over to the duo lane. BakedGoods, who had a great game on the Artemis, is heading to the mid lane. So a chance for Barry to show off a different role. Things didn't go great on the Discordia in mid lane, so hopefully for Barry, the Charybdis does better in the duo lane. We're seeing some even pressure in the duo lane. Very early war over here. Looks like the pressure is going to go one way, but over in the solo, we got some pressure coming out onto Noob, BakedGoods, and Patro looking for some damage, but they haven't really found a whole lot yet. Noob pretty much able to get away for free, runs into the Chang'e, gets the heal, safe for now. Really no punishment for the weird positioning there.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much just the Chang'e was able to heal the very small amount of damage that they did end up dealing to this Pele. We didn't get to see the whole thing, so I don't know if they were missing axe or what's going on here.
Barry's dropping fast. Shell comes out, helps with some damage from the Heart Bomb, but Barry's still taking damage and can't quite get away. Good for now. And once again, Patro and Noob have found each other in the jungle and are duking it out. We'll see if it plays out more of the same. That movement speed, though, for Noob is just enough consistently to get away and get away again.
Yeah, judging by the, you know, wars from the jungle, the Pele did get away with that that invade pretty scot-free. You know, good awareness by the Pele. You know, I want to talk about this dual lane for a sec. Ymir actually leveled the stun level 1. It's not something that's usually traditional. Usually you want to go for the 2 just for the wave clear, but it didn't seem to matter too much. It did seem like red team still kind of got a lot of pressure, a lot of damage coming on to the blue team ADC. So yeah, that was just an interesting thing.
Yeah, a lot of times you might see that if there is a chance at an invade or something, you're trying to catch the others. But yeah, a bit of a strange decision. I'm sure it made the that probably explains the pressure difference we saw in that first little engage. AJRave a little low. kidwhosucks is gonna go for some try hard 3 AM rank strats and freeze the wave and force that Ratatasker underneath the tower. It's a rough life for AJRave right now. I was excited to see the Ratatasker. I'm sure it'll show up later, but at the moment, it's a tough time.
Yeah, I mean, early game, Tier's just a pressure bot. I mean, you're not going to be able to outclear him. He's gonna have insane heals. It's going to be really rough to deal with. We'll see how that, you know, scales later. See if, you know, the Ratatasker is going to be able to roam around better with her ults. You know, participate more in, you know, these early mid-game team fights. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that one.
For sure. And looking at the builds early on here, seeing everybody pick for starter, everything's normal so far. But as we saw last game, there was some unique choices across the board. and builds. So while we can't see anything crazy yet, I'm very excited to see here in a bit whatever he does. AJRave is playing it so dangerous, just begging kidwhosucks to go underneath this tower to look for the kill. Instead, gonna head over to the jungle and see what's going on over there. Very confident moves there by AJRave. Lucan puts the wall out, trying to cut off Barry, taking a lot of damage in return. Heart bomb onto stooompzz. Barry returning some damage onto the Cupid. Nothing major, though. I thought more might come off of that stun by Lucan, but nothing to follow up in the mid lane. No, we got a gank onto BakeddGoods. Gonna get the jump away, but the ultimate from Pele is good for the first blood.
Yeah, I mean, just great teamwork there by the mid and the jungler. Great, call outs. One thing I think that I forgot to mention earlier, the blue team, they don't have the best awards around the mid lane in the early game. We saw the same exact thing happen last game where the mid laner got picked out just fighting a 2v1 that never should have happened. And I think the answer to that is just better early game awards.
And there it was. AJRave tested kidwhosucks one too many times. He goes under the tower and finds the solo kill in the solo lane for the first kill over on that side. Back in the duo lane, though, we got some more fighting coming out. This time it's a gank. Fields of Love comes out. Charybdis ult. No good. Cupid away for now. Lucan getting pressured. He's a bit far behind. Cupid trying to get him out. There's the pillars. Has to walk through, but it isn't enough. He's safe for now. A failed gank in the duo lane from blue team. Gonna hang out a little longer, but there's nothing there.
Failed gank and an expensive one at that. 3 ults used for that, and I really feel like the Dharmic pillars were just unnecessary. There was no way they were killing that Ymir. He was halfway under tower and still a decent chunk of health. The maw by the Charybdis was not quite on the mark. Very unfortunate to see.
Huh, the kidwhosucks is hanging out proxying the Ratatasker. Noob on the Pele has shown up, was able to secure the blue buff, but did not help get the tier out from proxying. So now the tier gets the free roam in the jungle. Not much will come of it, but surprised we didn't see the Pele and the Ratatasker try to at least put some pressure on the tier.
Yeah, if there was going to be a time to put a pressure on the tier, it was then. I mean, he was so far out of position. Maybe, even if it looked like mid was on the red buff, but, if they weren't, they could have seen a mid rotation to just, punish this tier. Would have been, a decent bounty given that he's, 1-0, maybe a revenge kill for the Ratatasker, but they're scared of this tier, and honestly, rightfully so. Tier is not easy to kill. He can ult out. He has 2 dashes. There's just not much he can do to step up and challenge tier right now.
Yeah, and we're also seeing kind of across the map just a different feel. Last game, it kind of felt like the red team, I mean, a lot of this was due to the rotations from ChrisPocket, the jungler from game 1, but the red team just had control of the map from the get-go. So far, everybody's much more even. Things are a lot more passive, much more calm, with the exception of the bullying in the solo lane. There really hasn't been nearly as much action. stooompzz taking a bit of poke in the mid, but see, even then, that would have been a kill in game number 1. Patro, though, might be caught out. Going to initiate on the DarkFox. Took a lot of damage, though. Going to have to use that ultimate to get away. It's going to be enough to get him out for now. He's going to be good. Good ultimate there from Patro to get away.
Yeah, there's one thing Lancelot can do. It's, escape. The CC immunity, as far, except for stuns on the horse, is so strong. The ult goes so far. They can't really chase with any dashes, given that it's a huge cripple. So it's definitely, Lancelot's a safe pick.
kidwhosucks is causing trouble in the jungle and might pay for it. Gets caught out by Luke and going to use that ultimate to get away.
Ooh.
But goes into a nice wall from Lucan, and Noob will secure the kill. Tier gets punished for all the bullying after 7 minutes of it.
What a wall that was by the Ymir. Perfectly placed right up against that pillar, right at the end of his ult. I mean, wow. That was impressive.
And the proxy revenge and the ultimate to get away from AJRave, and things are back to even in the solo lane.
One god that might be a little bit safer as far as the ult goes than Lancelot is Ratatasker. I mean, if the Rat's ult is up and he wants to get out, he's going to get out.
Yeah, it's basically a get out shell free card.
Absolutely.
We do see Barry rotating over to these oracles, but not going to get over there in time to make any attempt to steal. So oracles go the way of the red team. We saw this last game, we see another first item Divine Ruin from the mid laner. What's your take on that?
Again, I don't like it that much. I mean, there's even less healing on the blue team now. I mean, obviously, yeah, I wouldn't expect no anti-heal, given, you know, Tyr is, you know, pretty decent healer, but again, not first item. I mean,
Yeah.
It's just not the best. I would have preferred to see even, you know, a Spear of Deso. Obviously, we've seen a lot of Book of Thoth given its recent buff. No, I'm not loving the Divine Ruin. She also put a Mana Chalice. Not a very typical thing, you know. Given, you know, the mana that you get from Totem, you know, obviously, you know, the solo lane has been getting absolutely dominated by the tier. Maybe they expected that and knew they weren't going to get any mana from this Totem, but
Oh,
look
no.
at this.
There was a jump party gone wrong between the supports. Patro takes a lot of damage as a result of the jump party between Stoops and Lucent Colors. Everybody gets to go their own separate ways, but it was dangerous there. Now Stoops might be caught out. Patro is on the other side of the wall at the red buff and going to be safe.
And
That was close.
There we see the interaction between the Ymir wall. Just Ganesh just doesn't care about it, and he's just going to dash right through it.
Ooh, pressured out is Barry, but trying to bait for Patro, and Cupid did not see it coming. Fields of Love comes down for the protections, taking a lot of damage. Here comes Dark Fox and Lucent Colors. Changa ultimate on the Patro, taking a lot of damage. Barry ult to try to back off Dark Fox, but it's no good. Blink from Patro, though, will be enough to get away for now. Barry goes into the water, and they're both safe. Another great disengage from the blue team. That's 2 times now that we've seen them very successfully disengage. In the solo lane, though, Tyr continues to bully AJ, even no longer in terms of the bullying, getting fearless under your own tower.
Yeah, again, we see a lot of ultimates committed in the left side of this map, and just absolutely nothing coming out of it. You know, Lancelot was very close to dying, blinking out just barely. Charybdis just having ultimate escape tool with the 3, the whirlpool form, and you know, even with the great rotation by the red team, no one got anything out of that.
And it's tough when that happens because you commit so much, like you said. And we see once again, Tyr just hanging out in the red team's jungle, and they can't do anything to punish him. Last time they got away with punishing him because of the great wall from Lucent, but this time he walks away free, and it might turn into a sneaky pyromancer. We'll say Lucent snipped it out, though. AJRave around the side. It's down to a quarter. AJ goes up into the sky. Stoops and Patro disengaged. Ymir ult down. Not enough to get the pyromancer, though. Blue team has secured the pyromancer and AJRave. Lucent, last one over there. Dark Fox is trying to get over, but I don't think we'll be in time. Still alive, though. 3-man stun from Lucent. Will that be enough to get away? Dark Fox picks up the kill. He gets a double kill. Lucent still trying to get away. Uller can't find it. Gets cut off from Noob. Noob gets the kill, and Ymir gets to walk away with his life.
What a great punish. What a great clapback by the red team. It was looking so good for the blue team.
Cupid got to get out of there. Almost got soloed. It was close there for a second. Barry, though, wants it. How far will he chase it? He will not. He'll look for the scepter. Good call there. Red team was waiting. Are they going to go for the gank on Barry? Maybe not. Dark Fox considered it, but they want the Gold Fury, and I think this might be another objective pull. Last time blue team got the pyro. Red team, though, going to get this for completely free. Nobody even noticed. Great call by red team.
Absolutely uncontested by blue team. Again, just the fight around the pyromancer was just off the mark for the blue team. They committed too much into trying to kill the Ymir when they were very low. You know, great stun by the Ymir. I think the one thing that, you know, either team could have done better was, I feel like the Ymir could have been a little better in securing it. Maybe the red team does actually end up stealing it away, but ultimately I don't think...
Oh no! Barry got a solo onto Cupid with some help from that ultimate. I was waiting for it to happen. Cupid was playing things dangerously, and Barry had a rough game in mid in game 1, but game 2, great showing so far in ADC. Oh, the kid who sucks blinked in, but the Fearless was no good. The rotation was for naught, and now the wall stops him from getting back sooner. He looks back in disgust, but was it a ploy? No, it wasn't. He will get away, but tough rotation there for kid who sucks.
Yeah, I mean, great play by Barry here. Crib Assault is not an easy ability to land. One of the hardest assaults to land in the game. Oh, look at this.
A freeze onto BakeddGoods, but he gets the stun. Stoops, though, has to put his attention onto Dark Fox. Patro's here. Ymir ult down. Lancelot ult out. The only guy who hasn't ulted is Uller because he can't. Dark Fox takes a lot of damage. Uller gets pushed away. Another great freeze by Lucent. That's been a consistent theme this game. And once again, blue team disengages, realizing the fight wasn't going their way. Good call again.
Yeah, another consistent theme with this game is just, you know, fights that are looking, like anticipating, looking like they're going to go somewhere, just ending in neither team taking a major loss here.
Good silence there from Stoops. It might go overlooked, but it was a great play. Feels a love drop. Noobs peeking out on Barry. Pre-beads for Barry. Gets in. Good damage. There's the ultimate. Will it be enough for the kill? Yes, it will. Cupid gets the kill onto Barry with some help from his jungler, played by Noob.
Yeah, that was a great communication between the Pele and the Cupid. The Kribis used her Whirlpool form. I'm sure that was communicated. And, the second they came out of that, Pele was on top of that. The pre-beads, just everything. Very well played by the red team. I think, the issue the blue team had was that, they have one ward around the purple buff on the red team's purple buff. Other than that, the red team's left side wards are very aggressive and very dominant, and the blue team just doesn't have any. Maybe they should get some sentry wards down to try to deal with them, or even just, some wards of their own to prevent something like that from happening.
They do have some in their inventory, so I'm kind of looking for them to get dropped. Stooms has been hanging on to his for a little bit here. Maybe they just don't know how aggressive the wards are from red team. AJRave almost was able to get a kill on kidwhosucks, but he ultimately got the tower. Noob was looking for it, but it won't be there. That tier is going to be tough to kill no matter how low health he is. Patro here, though, going to go down onto Noob, doing some huge damage considering the level difference. There's the ultimate. Oh, but Noob gets out of the slam with the great timed ultimate. That was a great play by Noob, and now Patro's caught out. Lucent's gonna get the freeze and the ult and the wall. Dark Fox has all the time in the world. That wall was perfect, and that's gonna be the death for Patro. He can only look back and accept his fate. Great wall.
That is tragic. That's so sad to see. Thinking maybe you can just squeeze through, but the space just not quite big enough. Great wall by the Ymir.
Barry and Cupid are just duking it out in that duo lane, but Cupid might spot out this pressure here from the support, trying to make sure that they can secure this purple invade. Fields of Love comes out. Shell, maybe unnecessary shell, but just playing it safe for now. Ymir is on his way over, gets picked off by the Uller and stalled out, but another good freeze from Lucent, a theme, another great wall. It's a thing this game. It's just nonstop from Lucent with the walls and the freezes. They're great consistently. What will come of it this time? No. Dark Fox going around the back, gonna find Barry. Has to get out of there quick. Uller looking around the side, trying to see if they can make something happen, but a great ult from Dark Fox on the Chunga makes everybody have to disengage, but this time there's nowhere to go from Stoops, or is there? Gets away for now, but the Pele ultimate secures it. A great play from Pele to keep the Ganesh from getting away there.
These tower dives by the Pele are just always on point. They're always, just getting in there, killing them really quickly, and getting out before you take too much damage. I mean, it seemed like it was a pretty good purple invade, but, the response back by the red team was just too big, and they only ended up losing their support, but, that's still something. Like you said, the walls and the freezes just on point by Lucent. Incredible display of mechanical skill. I think the Uller was a good pick, just given the fact that he can leap over the wall, something we didn't see too much from the red team in the last game when the blue team had the Ymir. So I think that was a good call, and picking up someone with a leap that can get over it.
Free Pyromancer on the right and a gank on the left in response. kidwhosucks traveled from the solo to the duo lane. It gets a kill onto the Cupid, but red team did get a free Pyromancer. In return, blue team wants a free Primal Fury, and everybody's going to collapse on it. Ratataskers around, could sniff it out. Going to go up into the ultimate. Will he be able to get the steal? He drops down onto BakeddGoods. Fell fast, lost track of him though. BakeddGoods gets out of there safely. Blue team does get the secure onto the Fury, but how many lives will it cost? If any, none. Red team goes the other way. Great play there by blue team. Really good communication.
you know, personally, if I'm right there, I'm going for the steal. You know, I think it was, you know, a fairly decent call to go on to the Uller there. He definitely would have died if he didn't have that really well-timed Aegis. Great use of the Aegis by BakedGoods here. But yeah, no, great call by blue team. Great understanding that they're going to want to reset after the pyro. At the very least, they're on the right side of the map. Looks like there's some engagement over here. Looks like they're backing off, though.
Yeah, that's kind of been the story of this game. The disengages really for both teams have been very impressive. They're taking a much more passive approach, and I think that's a result of how easily Red Team was able to take control of the map and the pressure from those kind of rough team fights in the beginning. And Blue Team, while they had a great defense last game, they were playing tower defense for the last 10 minutes. So ultimately, the back was going to break on it, but much different approach, and it's working so far. Very impressive.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference maker that is that they're just grouping a lot better. Is the thing I was, you know, saying I would like to see more
Fields
of.
of love onto Barry. Gonna get away again, but this time Noob is hot on a chase. Ultimate comes out from Pele, doing tons of damage. Barry, Aegis maybe a little late, should have saved it. Gonna fall to Noob in the duo lane. Noob's on a rampage, not playing around this time.
That burst is just insane. I mean, we saw him get exploded so quickly. I was thinking maybe you just turn around and try to fight it, but I think no matter what, he was dead there.
Return gank from Lancelot on to the Cupid. Gonna easily find that kill. Cupid gets a nice heart bomb off at the end, but dead anyway. Tough luck for Cupid there, but a good response gank.
Yeah, very good punish by blue team here. And look at this tier, man. Look at this cheeky tier.
That's been the story of this tier's game. He has been causing trouble in the jungle. I'm sure blue team wishes they could have gotten a bit more value out of that jungle control and the rotations from tier this game, but it hasn't been from lack of trying. It just has been from lack of it working out, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope, you know, going into the later games here, the blue team does a little bit better at positioning around kidwhosucks. He seems to be very comfortable in his lane, understanding, you know, his capabilities, understanding that he can, you know, get away with invading the jungle, invading the blue, proxying. This is a very knowledgeable player, and I think his calls, you know, we saw them last game, his positioning and his calls were on point, and if the blue team plays around this, I think they have a really solid chance of winning this game.
Yeah, you called it last time with the callouts from the solo lane. Noob gonna get away for now, but Patro is chasing it. But did he dive too deep? The tower gets a secure. Pat did get the kill though. Gets the shutdown gold with it as well. AJRave goes down on the BakeddGoods, and to Barry gets a lot of damage very quickly, but gets stunned out. Some crazy damage from BakeddGoods onto DarkeFox, gets the kill. And Lucent finds himself stuck in between 4 members of the blue team. BakeddGoods has a double kill showing up on that Uller. Great turnaround for the blue team.
Yeah, very aggressive ultimate by the Ratatosker that just the blue team had the answer for. I think the, you know, red team was just trying to help commit to their Ratatosker. Maybe, you know, just baited a little bit, but yeah, great damage from BakeddGoods as well as the Kurdish. Kurdish have done a lot of damage. Got some decent crits in there, and now for a fire giant pull.
A fire giant pull at 21 minutes from blue team. We've seen this from their objectives, but not any real commitment so far. It looks like it was more of a bait or just a lack of commitment overall to it. Gonna look for the kill on the Cupid, but everybody had a lot of spacing. They may look to re-engage the fire giant now, but at that rate, maybe you should have kept the pull. Nobody's committing with Stoops, and ultimately the fire giant's dropped. Bit of a miscommunication there from blue team. Again, this is a free agent game. These are not teams that have played together a lot at all, so that is to be expected, but overall kind of a strange call at the fire giant.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it wasn't like, I don't think it was the best call. Like, maybe I think that what they were just trying to go for was that.
Ooh, hold that thought, as Lucent might have gotten caught out, but AJRave is looking for the re-engage to maybe get some pressure off, but is it coming too late? Gonna land, looking for Barry, did not hit, lands on Stoops, who had the silence ready to go, and now Noob is paying the price for that, taking a lot of damage from the Lancelot. Once again, the ultimate, though, gets out of the jump. BakeddGoods gets a kill on to the Chang'e. That's a lot of damage gone from that Chang'e, and the ultimate was not used. Cupid still alive, trying to get out of there. Good job by Lucent, creating space for the Cupid to escape. And ultimately, only one person lost for red team is a big victory. kidwhosucks, though, is behind Lucent and AJRave. They're once again pulling the fire giant, more of a bait again. BakeddGoods jumps in onto Lucent, gets a good stun. Lucent knocked up before he could get the stun off. The freeze is not going to help him this time. He will fall. Fire Giant being considered again. Will they commit this time? AJRave is around the back, though. I'm not sure if they know. Barry does know. Peeks around the side. Gets stunned out, taking some good damage. Kidwhosucks is on the way, trying to get Barry out of there. AJRave still healthy, still alive. Blinking from DarkeFox gets the kill onto Barry with the nice ultimate, but now he's caught out in 3 members. AJRave tries to go around to meet the Chang'e. Cupid is now the one caught out. Heart Bomb, no good. Uller jumped it. Fearless. Cupid dashes through. There's the pillars. Cupid stuck. AJRave is considering it, but leaves Cupid to die. And ults underneath the tier 2 tower. Tier ultimate follow-up is no good. We're still in the jungle. Blue team might have stayed too long now as Noob is back alive. Gets the kill on the BakeddGoods, chasing down the tier. Gonna turn attention to Stoops. Picks up a lot of damage. Blue team's got to get out of there. They've hung out by this Fire Giant for 5 minutes. It's not dropped. They've gotten some kills, but at this point, was it worth the risk? Now Pyromancer is getting pulled. Red team's full committing to the Pyromancer, and just Lancelot's here. He's going to have to give it up. So after 5+ minutes of the Fire Giant being pulled and not committed on, Blue team has now lost the Pyromancer.
Yeah, I felt at some point there, baiting the Fire Giant was actually really good. They ended up getting some decent picks, but I think they were on it a little too much. They kept, getting that firewall up and then having to, walk through it. That firewall is no joke. It does a lot of damage.
Blink from Patro into the ultimate on Noob. There's the pillars. Noob taking a lot of damage. Still alive, though. Was looking for the passive on Patro, but it did not do enough to keep Noob alive. Gonna fall. We'll see what this leads to, but Charybdis is on the other side of the map, and so is Uller, so gonna lead to nothing for now. AJRave caught out by kidwhosucks, but he's alone for now, so nothing to follow up with. It kind of awkward engagements across the map. I think this comes from the lack of team communication. They're kind of figuring out, okay, where do we go from here? We've danced around the Fire Giant. We couldn't get it. Now we've kind of fallen a bit behind on the farm that we were doing so good on, so it's sort of just an awkward time for both these teams.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about the uptime on these Dharmic Pillars. With the Spirit Robes and the Pridwin that he has 30% cooldown reduction, and we're seeing the impact of that. We're seeing a lot of well-placed Dharmic Pillars, and just like a lot of them overall because of how much cooldown reduction he has, and they're having a lot of impact on these fights. And I think this build path is serving this Ganesha very well.
I agree 100% that Ganesh has those pillars have been perfect every time. We saw it recently when it caught out the Cupid. AJRave couldn't do anything, had to basically leave his Cupid to die.
Yeah,
and ult underneath his own tier 2 tower. So tough luck so far for the red team in the Ganesh department, but everything else is still fairly even. We saw the charts before. There wasn't anything too crazy. Things are starting to go the way of red team after the awkwardness of the Fire Giant, but not too far yet. Oni Fury getting pulled by blue team. Nobody from red team is able to contest it. Gonna fall for free. A nice sneaky Oni Fury, but what does it open up on the other side of the map over by the Pele and the Ratatasker?
Yeah, I mean, Tyr and Lancelot are there in case they want to try anything. This Tyr just so dominant, so uncontested. They are, I think they dewarded a sentry right there on the Fire Giant Pit itself. But Red does have some pretty decent aggressive wards around the Fire Giant Pit, and they just didn't have any wards on the Oni Fury. So that was completely uncontested. They had no idea they were there. And, the blue team would know if they were going for the Fire Giant just because they did have the singular ward on the Fire Giant Pit itself. Maybe lacking little wards deeper, understanding the positioning of where they are if they want to pull this Fire Giant, but I think the Oni Fury might have been worth it.
Here we go at the Fire Giant. Noob and Stoops are trading blows. Support to jungle, everybody's favorite battle. For a minute there, red team had the player advantage, but it has since dwindled, but Stoops may be considering backing. We'll see if red team can notice it and go for a play. A reminder that we have a different perspective, so red team might not even know that the Ganesh backed. By the time they notice, Ganesh will be back here. We're at this phase of a game. Tends to be one of my least favorite. It's the Fire Giant dance. Both teams are kind of just waiting to see what the other is going to do, waiting for the other to push too far. So whatever team can take advantage of that may be the team that's able to run away and get that Fire Giant and potentially more with it.
Red team needs to be very careful with how they positioned here. Blinking by the tier leading to a Fearless could spell the end of this fight, leading to the Fire Giant. I'm really looking at how this tier is going to initiate this fight, what he's going to do, how he's going to engage, and this is a very important fight. You know, it's going to be the first Fire Giant. It's going to lead to a lot.
You can tell by Tier's movements that he's looking for the Fearless to open up a window for his team to follow up, but it's just not been there yet. The only one he had, he took some damage, so he couldn't commit to the blink. Might have found it here, still kind of looking for it. Pele put some damage on. Stoomps and Pele are trading blows. This might be the opening. Nothing quite yet. Once again, Tier setting up, looking for the blink. Might have found it, but it's no good. Pillars come out a bit early too, and everybody's able to get out of that safely. So that might be a misplay from blue team. kidwhosucks taking a lot of damage. The tankiness is gone. AJRave up into the sky in response. Noob is the only one taking damage on the red team for now. Very low. Pat's going to get the kill over by the tier 2 tower. Barry, though, taking insane damage from the Cupid. Everybody all of a sudden is low in the blue team. A lot of damage coming out from the red team. Pat has to go into the solo lane. Amazing wall. Once again, AJRave gets a kill on the Stoomps. Patro, though, finds a double onto the Cupid. Dark gets a kill on the Patro, shutting down that soon-to-be spree. And ultimately, red team ends up with a 3v2. Well played.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw a bit of an overcommit from the tier. Maybe, you know, his team tried to help him a little too much when he had, you know, the ult outs, you know, something, you know, they gotta communicate better that, you know, Tier's fine, he can just ult out, you know, CC immunity. He's Tier. If anyone's gonna be able to get out, it's gonna be him. And so just a bit of an overcommitment by the blue team following up on their Tier, and red team just had the answer.
Changa ultimate on the Big Good took a lot of damage very quick. AJRave is on it. He's very healthy, but this time no ultimate to chase down. Now Tier's the only one alone, but how many people does it take to kill a Tier? Let's see if it can happen. He gets away from the freeze. Fearless walking away perfectly fine. Now looking for the re-engage to try to contest. This Pyromancer is getting pulled by the red team. He's in, tries to go after Darkfox. Darkfox gets away for now. Tier starting to lose a bit of health. Misses the Fearless, gets frozen. Gonna have to ult away. That could be big going forward for the Tier.
I mean, he basically prevented that Pyromancer from happening single-handedly.
Yeah, that was very good.
His team was nowhere near. He created a lot of space, wasted a lot of their time, but he did pay for it a lot in his health bar and his ultimate.
We have been in this Fire Giant pit for about 15 minutes, it feels like, but there's barely been any Fire Giants or Pyromancers pulled. We're actually at EFG now. So the fights are still raging, but it's not been lanes. It's been this Fire Giant pit. So I'm still wondering who's going to be the first one to make that drastic move. I thought we saw it before, but the fight went on for so long, nothing truly happened. Tier got Fields of Love dropped on him. He is fine for now. Still looking to make a play happen. This time Uller gets the stun. Fearless hits, but it's on to Lucent, who's very tanky. AJRave up into the sky. Blink. Darkfox gets the kill on the BakedGoods. Noob gets a kill on the Tier. Stoomps is the last one over in the back. AJRave picks him up. It's going to come up to Patro to try to defend as the Charybdis just can't find an opening. Is full health by the blue buff. Might just have to back or try to steal this Fire Giant. I'm not really sure what the Charybdis positioning was during that team fight, that he's still full health, but we'll see if it pays off for this Fire Giant steal. Ultimate a bit early, maybe. Now the ultimate from Darkfox. Barry's got to get out of there. Patro got a kill onto Noob over in the mid lane. That's a big pickup as the Pele's gone. So Pele will not have this Fire Giant that the red team does secure. Lucent still alive, was able to keep Barry off that Fire Giant that entire time. Great job by Lucent. And where does Barry have to go? He's currently backed by the tier. He's going to be allowed to back there. The only person who gets spotted out is AJ. Yeah, he's not going to find it. A free back for Barry. Patro blinks on the Darkfox. Will he be able to find anything off of it? Rat ultimate might come down. Doesn't even need it. Darkfox cleans it up all by himself. Great plays by the Changa and rough positioning from Patro.
Yeah, a bit of an overcommitment from Patro. You know, I think the only thing that the blue team could have hoped for was that this Charybdis would have been able to steal away the EFG. That would have been huge. Unfortunately, the Ma was just a little early. I think, you know, just Yeah, again, as you were saying, just long, drawn-out fights around this EFG pit led into, maybe a little bit of antsiness by, the blue team or even the red team, which, ultimately led to a pretty decisive fight by the red team, led into the EFG. It was good that Patra was able to get rid of at least the Pele's EFG buff. That's going to be very valuable, but we still see 4 members of the red team with EFG. EFG's no joke. So right now I'm looking to see what is red team going to do with this. What are they going to attack some tier 2s? Are they going to go for the Gold Fury? Are they going to
Let's group up and do something though.
Yeah, right now it looks like they're playing too passively. I think they need to get something done. Obviously, they still have quite a bit of time left on this EFG buff. They got a lot of time to regroup, reset, buy more items, buy wards, and just really decide what they want to do. Looks like they are grouping up around mid, so let's see how this ends up.
We do have a 5-man group in mid, and it looks like blue team is ready to defend their tier 2 tower. We'll see how much that commitment works out. Everybody but the Pele does have that EFG buff, so we'll see how that affects the Pele damage. It would have been somebody nice to have it on, but it's not incredibly detrimental. Some poke out. They are going to just give up the tier 2 tower, probably the best move. So heading over to the solo lane is the red team. Going to go for the tower clears, always a smart move. Barry tried to pick out Noob, but was unsuccessful for now. Noob, though, playing a bit up, is taking a lot of poke consistently. Might need to play back a bit. There's the big heals, though. That's going to do a lot in keeping you in the fight. And now we've got a potential Phoenix Siege, but they're going to think better of it. Going to go head over the dual lane, get the tower. It's a tough position for blue team. It kind of looks like they're going to play back, give up all the towers, and look to do what they did last game. Defend the Phoenixes as intently as you possibly can, but ooh, Noob got caught out. Tier Fearless is no good. Noob's going to be able to get away from this. I thought for sure that was going to be a death with how caught out Noob was, but it ended up working out. Wow.
He had the beads for the Fearless, so there wasn't much threat there. But obviously that does now mean that the Pele beads are down. Just every single tier 2 mopped up by the red team. I think that was the best play for the red team. Every tower, decreasing the health of that
Oh,
Titan.
in the mid lane! Patro was able to chase down Noob and get rid of him, but AJRave ulted back onto Patro, looking for the kill. Hasn't found it yet. Cupid's here to try to get the secure, but AJ's got to do something quick before the horse is up. Barry fell to Chang'e. Tier gets a kill back onto that Chang'e, though, but has to get out of there. He's pretty low. Cupid doing chunks of damage. Here's the ultimate from Ymir, trying to put a slow on Thiganash, possibly. Uller doing some poke onto Lucent, trying to create space, and honestly, weird positioning from both teams, and now each team is down 2 members.
Yeah, I mean, they did strip away the Fire Giant buff from the Chang'e. Interesting beads by the Ratatoskr, I believe that was.
Back to the Phoenix Siege, just dropping quick from the damage from Cupid, but a nice Fearless cuts them off, and BakeddGoods gets the kill onto the Cupid. That's a huge kill to stop this siege down to 2 members as the red team. 3 healthy for blue. Good wall from Lucent once again, but Tier's gonna ult over it. Doesn't care one bit. AJRave doing some damage from the side. They're both fairly tanky. We'll see how much blue team commits to this chase. BakeddGoods jumps over the wall, looking for some damage onto Lucent. AJRave, though, trying to keep his support alive, goes into the ultimate. Lucent gets away at no health. AJ will not commit with the ultimate. Good escape from red team after things went so badly.
We don't know a lot about these teams. They're free agents, but if there's one thing we know, it's that blue team knows how to defend a Phoenix. I mean, we saw it last game. Red team was really, really struggling to get a Phoenix down, and blue team just performed so well during the Phoenix sieges, and we're seeing that again this game. Even with a lot of your team having enhanced Fire Giant, it's not mattering. The blue team is just super good at defending, even without major base defenders like a Merlin or something. They're just able to hold it down so well, and this red team can't get anything further than just the tier 2s.
Yeah, it seems like consistently they make it up to the Phoenix. Don't hard commit to the Phoenix engage to try to get rid of it and then kind of pay for it and get slowly picked apart by the blue team. Blue team got the Pyromancer pretty quick, so now they're set up nice for an EFG. Red team is slowly making their way over to the pit. We'll see if blue team goes for anything dangerous or a bait, or if we get more dancing at the Fire Giant, my favorite. Red team pushed up a bit far. Blue team tries to respond. Stun onto the Cupid. Patro's going in, doing damage to that Cupid. Tyr gets the kill. Game-changing kill from the Tyr onto the Cupid. AJRave up into the sky, trying to see what he can make happen. Patro's low, but he goes after the Tyr. Probably did not see the Lancelot. Lancelot's got to back out of there. Got very low very quick. BakeddGoods now takes some damage from AJRave. Safe for now. Tyr might have caused too much trouble. Gets picked up by the Pele. And as important as the Cupid kill was, that Tier 1 might have been even more important. Great job by Ganesh keeping Noob off of the Charybdis, but how long can Barry last? Not long at all. Gets picked up, but it's a Ganesh kill in a 38-minute game. Let's go. Patro's back. Kills Dark Fox. AJRave gets knocked up. Gonna fall too. BakeddGoods secures that one, and now it's just Lucent left for Red Team. What seemed like an impossible fight for Blue Team after everybody got poked out has turned into a 3v1. They're gonna commit to the Fire Giant. Taking a lot of damage though, gotta play it careful. Gonna back out, everybody's jumping out. Lucent went in though, looking for the seal. Now he's caught out on the fire. Gonna use the Fire Giant wisely as defense to be able to get away. Smart move by Lucent. And Blue Team fumbles what could have been their biggest opportunity yet.
I mean, we saw Blue Team, you know, at the start of that fight, they got a great pick. It was looking very strong, but as the fight sort of evolved, we saw that their positioning sort of dissolved. They weren't grouping like they should have been. They got picked off one by one, but then, you know, again, it sort of changed for the better of the Blue Team. They sort of, you know, regrouped back up. Ganesha got a solo kill. That doesn't happen very often. And then we saw Charybdis and, you know, Patro coming back in and, you know, wiping them up. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to get this EFG. You know, great EFG play by the Ymir, being able to defend it. Even if they were going to commit to it, he still had his ult available. You know, maybe we saw 2 Ymir ult Fire Giant seals in one set. That would have been really interesting. But, you know, just, you know, good, pretty solid plays by both teams. Neither team ends up with the EFG, and this game's going to go on for a little bit longer.
Yeah, Tyr got everybody off of that EFG. The Cupid ultimate came down as well, so no Fields of Love for the next team fight. But Fire Giant just got blown up by Blue Team. Barry, there's that double ADC for you and what it can do. And now Red Team is quickly falling. Noob gets picked up by Patro. Could this be it? Patro looking for somebody else he can find to kill. Now Cupid's caught out on the side by Tyr, but Tyr ults down onto nobody as everybody else is getting away. Barry doing some damage onto the Ymir, but not going to do a lot there. Tyr does get the kill onto Chang'e. They're running it down mid, chasing after the Cupid, but Tyr's calling everybody back. Tyr wants the objectives. They're going to go for this Tier 2 tower. AJRave up into the air, seeing if he can find anybody. Gonna have to ult onto the side. Might be caught out now. Gonna be safe for the moment. They're gonna run it down to the Phoenix. Tyr fearless backwards, looked for AJ but could not find him. Phoenix already dropped. It's gonna turn into a Titan defense in a 3v5 against EFG. Falling quick as AJRave. Lucent not far behind. And now Cupid's caught out. That's probably gonna do it, but they have to go for the end. They have to commit and play it smart. Lucent is fully healthy. The freeze doesn't find anybody. Titan is falling. It's gone. Blue Team comes back and wins this game after an incredible team fight at the Fire Giant.
Yeah, wow, that was so insane. Yeah, I didn't expect that Fire Giant to fall so quickly. The Tyr was zoning so perfectly, so well. The Red Team had no idea that the Fire Giant was that low, let alone that they were going to get it. And they were just able to run it down, man. Something that the Red Team was not able to do. The shortcomings of the Red Team were not there on the Blue Team. They were able to see Chef Phoenix so quickly with the picks that they got after the EFG. Again, perfect zoning by this Tyr. They were able to end that game so quickly when it seemed like this game was going to go on for at least a couple more minutes. What a turn of events.
Yeah, it's almost like the Blue Team knew that I was trying to get to bed at a decent hour tonight, and they decided to put the foot down on the gas. But again, this was a free agent game, so let's talk about individual performances. Barry did have a better showing than the first game we saw with the Discordia. 34,000 player damage, but 1 in 6 on the Charybdis. Definitely had some positioning issues, but overall, great play. BakedGoods is somebody I'd like to point out. Had a great game on ADC in Game 1 and a pretty good game on an Ullr mid in Game 2. Had some tough times finding openings. kidwhosucks had a great showing both games on solo. Definitely a shot caller. one of the issues for the blue team that you could probably find is that there was some problems with communication and following up on the initiations from kidwhosucks on the Guan Yu in game 1 and the tier in game 2. Patro played very well on this Lancelot. I was very impressed. 42,000 player damage. Stoomps' mechanical skill is over the moon. AJRave, not as strong a performance on the Ratatasker as I expected. Very low player damage. DarkFox, very good on the Chang'e. The only thing with DarkFox that you and I were questioning quite a bit was the builds. The Cupid, once again, kind of a tame showing. Nothing bad overall. Lucent was so impressive on the Ymir. Almost better than the Khepri with the really well done walls. And Pele was a sub for ChrisPocket from game 1. Did not disappoint too much. Bit of a tougher time, but also a more difficult god. And there was a lack of setup, I think, for the Pele.
Yeah, I mean, Chang'e absolutely, did tons of damage, had the top damage in the game, or excuse me, second top damage on her team, and it felt like she was doing a lot, but, Chang'e only does so much, bit more of a, sustained focused god, a bit more of a self-peel focused, and wasn't able to quite have the team fight impact as they did last game in the E-set. We did see the E-set banned, and I think that was a great ban by the blue team.
I agree.
kidwhosucks just ran around the whole map, the whole game, uncontested. He was always in the red team's jungle, constantly stripping away farm from the Pele, really limiting the capabilities of this Pele, and there's absolutely no contesting him. Like I said, I wanted to see the Ratatosker, come into some of these, early to mid-game fights, with the ultimate, and we just didn't quite see it. It seemed like they were a little too preoccupied with this tier just running around the map. And yeah, I think kidwhosucks had an excellent performance here, really stood out. And, looking at the, the two carries, are these guys, they seemed like they performed a lot better with the role swap. Are they going to be more committed to, is BakeddGoods going to be more committed to playing in mid lane? Is Barry going to be more committed to playing in the duo lane? Because they definitely performed a lot better this game as opposed to last game. I think last game might have been, just down to picks and positioning, not necessarily the roles that they played, but it does beg the question. And we got to talk about Stoomps. Incredible Dharmic pillars all across the game. He got a solo kill. Great builds. Had such good uptime on the Dharmic pillars. I mean, great performance by blue team. Absolutely brought it back from game 1. And I'm looking forward to see how some of these players play if they get picked up by the main circuit.
Very well said. And with that, we're going to leave you tonight. If you want to be a free agent and consider getting picked up by one of the teams in our Challenger division or potentially the Premier division, then make sure you join the Discord and get signed up and play yourself. Make sure you check out the Twitch and the YouTube and all the content that we put out for you. We have plenty of games coming up this weekend. I've been Anthony Malum. He was Cosmic Warrior. We had Nooblet on production, and we will see you next time.